I've done a lot of research on this, and one of the papers that I wrote that was published in the ITE journal, the Institute of Transportation Engineers journal, it talks about the old paradigm, which was very automobile-oriented, and now there's a new transportation planning paradigm. And this is occurring all over the world. This seminar is part of changing the paradigm and showing people that we can live a quality life, we can be better off, and certainly our cities will be far better off if we choose more multimodal transportation where you only use a car when it's really needed, where you walk, bicycle, and use public transit whenever you can, because those are the better modes. So the new transportation planning paradigm doesn't exclude automobiles, but it limits their use to available capacity. The streets of Sao Paulo are filled. They can't accommodate more cars. That's your constraint. And so you can work with that, and you can say, okay, we filled up the streets with cars. Let's find ways to improve transportation that doesn't require more cars, more car traffic. So a city becomes more efficient and equitable if policy decisions favor resource-efficient modes, that is walking, cycling, and public transit, so they are attractive even to affluent travelers. So even a wealthy person who can afford a car will say, no, I'm going to take the bus. So in the next session, I'll talk about what that looks like. But let's just paint a word picture in our minds. What would it take so when you wake up in the morning, you say to yourself, I can't wait to get on my bus, because riding my bus to work is the high point of my day? What will that take? Think about this. You go to your local coffee shop. It has really nice espresso or cappuccino. And you're sitting in the coffee shop, sipping your drink, working on your computer, using the internet. And on the side of on the wall of the coffee shop, there's a sign that tells you when your bus is coming, your number 14 bus. And it says 10 minutes. It says 5 minutes. It says 2 minutes. It says 1 minute. When it's 30 seconds before your bus arrives, you fold up your computer, you take your cappuccino, you walk right onto the bus, because the bus has RFID payment system, so that you don't have to put your hand in your pocket and come out with a coin or a card. It's all prepaid. You sit down at your seat, you fold down the little work table in front of your seat, you put your cappuccino in the cup holder, and you start using the Wi-Fi that's on the bus that has the same connection as your coffee shop, so you don't have to start over. Would you use that service if it was available? I think a lot of people would. Is it expensive to provide that level of service? No. Everything that I just described is simply taking current technology and integrating it so that there's a friendship, a relationship between the coffee shop and the transit agency, and the transit agency can guarantee that people will have a comfortable seat and onboard Wi-Fi service. It costs almost nothing to add services like Wi-Fi service and cup holders to buses. And that would reposition public transit as the superior premium service that allows affluent commuters to get from their homes to their work in a way that's relaxing and allows them to get some work done on their trip. Is Sao Paulo working toward that level of service? Okay, our job is to envision that level of service in your communities. Okay, so you can compare people and automobiles. People are soft, slow, quiet. They require fresh air. They desire green space. They're compact. They're cheap. That's what people are. Automobiles are hard, fast, noisy, polluting. They require lots of pavement. They're space intensive. A car takes lots and lots of space, and they're costly. Okay? An efficient transportation system makes use of the attributes of people. Unfortunately, our current transportation planning does a very poor job of taking into account many of these factors. Transportation engineers, they understand speed, but the models have no tools to incorporate comfort or prestige or the quality of the waiting period. Now, I might be wrong. So, Orlando, can I ask you a question since you're one of the great modelers around here? Do the models in Brazil, can they take into account travel comfort and the quality of the waiting experience? So when you're waiting for a bus or a train? So could they, if somebody decided that we wanted to take into account comfort and we wanted to measure the comfort of the public transit trip, could you incorporate a value for that? Is it technically possible? Right, okay. Well, so this is one of the great challenges. And some of you who are really smart out there and want to become modelers, this is going to be the great next step in modeling, is figuring out how to incorporate comfort and convenience in ways that we can't currently do it. Okay, so conventional evaluation, it just doesn't take into account these factors. And so we need to change the way we think about transportation, and we're able to incorporate a much more comprehensive analysis. So let me ask you this. What is the transportation problem in Sao Paulo or in Brazilian cities? Is it traffic congestion? Sure. Is it parking problems? Sure. Is it the cost to consumers of owning and operating cars? Is it traffic accidents? Is it the lack of mobility for non-drivers? Is it poor freight delivery? Is it environmental impacts? Is it inadequate physical activity? Are there others? Which is the problem in Brazil? Of course, it's all of them. These are all important problems that your clients, the people who live in your cities, care about. And so, if transportation planning focuses on just one or two of these problems, if your transportation engineers are concerned about traffic congestion and accidents, but ignore the other problems, they aren't doing their job. How well do transportation planners in Brazil take into account factors like lack of mobility for non-drivers, or the need for physical activity, for fitness and physical activity, or the cost to consumers of owning and operating vehicles? Are they doing a good job? Okay, so that's our challenge. This is the new paradigm. So current transportation planning tends to be reductionist. Each problem is assigned to a single agency with a narrowly defined responsibilities. So your transportation agency is concerned about traffic congestion. Your environmental agency is concerned about pollution. The welfare agency deals with the needs of disadvantaged populations. But nobody is taking into account all of these. And that is our challenge. Reductionist planning can result in public agencies implementing solutions to one problem that actually exacerbate other problems facing society, and tends to undervalue strategies that can provide more multiple but modest benefits. So if somebody was to ask, how much do your public bike systems reduce traffic congestion? It would probably be very small. Very few car trips shift to bicycling. But it does make a little contribution to reducing traffic congestion, and a contribution to reducing parking problems, and a contribution to reducing air pollution, and a contribution to improving mobility for non-drivers. So what we need to find the win-win solutions. That is, the congestion reduction strategies that also help provide other co-benefits. So the congestion reduction strategy that also reduces parking problems and saves consumers money and reduces accidents, that is the congestion reduction solution that you should choose.